Hello everyone, my name is Udin. I am a cloud architect with 10 years of experience in the field of cloud computing, DevOps, and also in infrastructure automation. In my experience, I have implemented many environments on different clouds based on the customer requirements. And coming to this course, it is a complete hands-on course on Azure. It is completely practical. I will be explaining you many concepts with the help of real world project examples in a practical way rather than just using theoretical presentation. You don't need to have any cloud computing knowledge prior to this course, as I will be covering all the topics from basic level. So before going to the course, let me just show you the contents we are going to cover in the course. I will be covering all these topics in the course, and this is just a heading for that. I will start by explaining about cloud and how it is beneficial when compared to a traditional on-premise approach. And then we'll explain about different cloud providers along with Azure. And then we will dive into Azure at a high level. The later topics are structured based on the type of cloud computing service and the services covered by Azure under that classification. The different types of cloud computing services are based on this classification. And so the classification is in the first one we'll be discussing about IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service. In this one, compute refers to a direct virtual machine which will be provisioned to us by the cloud provider. And then we'll go to its networking, storage, databases, and different levels of infrastructure provisioned to us. And then we'll go to platform as a service, where we'll be using the platform provided by Azure to run our web applications or any enterprise applications now. And other than these two, we will be covering different types of other services also, like Azure SaaS, Azure Backup, Azure Load Balancer. And now let's go to the presentation. And this is the first slide, which refers to as what is the purpose of the cloud. In today's scenario, 90% of the companies use the cloud. Many streaming platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and even banking sectors are also moving to secure cloud infrastructure. And based on the estimation from search engines like Google, it is expected to reach the expenditure of half a trillion within 2 years. So there is a lot of opportunities for you to also to have jobs in this field and also to earn a very good amount of. And coming to Azure, see why Microsoft Azure exactly? Because keeping the first one as AWS, as it is started far before Azure, Azure is considered as second largest public cloud, being Amazon Web Services as the first one. Even the R&D of Microsoft also extending the services of Azure to suit different projects. And soon it will be becoming the first rank in the cloud as a basic competitor to the AWS. The services Azure going to provide is like it's covering in vast areas like machine learning, data science, etc. It is, and also it's supported all over the world by providing and extending to more regions to support customers from different parts of the. The cost is also very less when compared to AWS cost. Even Azure is integrated with the different enterprise applications provided by Microsoft, like Intune, SCCM, and all. And coming to the job market, present 70 to 80% of the cloud market is covered by AWS, Um, and also there are many number of employees who are already working in AWS. And Azure, the remaining 30%, almost 20 to 25% is covered by Azure, and that 5 to 10% market is covered by Google Cloud and and other services. So that and there are very few members working on Azure also, but the jobs in the 20% is to cover that. So it's completely depend on the demand and supply basis. Like even though AWS is having many number of jobs, there are many number of people also in the competition to grab that opportunities. But coming to Azure, even there the companies are scheduling interviews for people who are working on other cloud providers like AWS and Google Cloud, uh, so that they can later learn Azure themselves with that cloud knowledge provided by AWS because of the scarcity in the number of employees in the Azure. So in that scenario, a person who is having good experience and learn technologies like you guys will be having a better opportunities in it. Not only in India, uh, there are many opportunities in European and US based countries also. So let's go to the basic concepts of cloud first. So the first scenario we will be considering is how the websites work. The client in this picture refers to the devices used by end users like us, maybe any of smartphone, laptop, or desktop. When we connect to internet to our device, we'll get a unique IP address called as uh, it will be of around 4-part address. Sample is like 192.168.344 like that. I will show you the sample IP address. If you go to Google and type what is my IP, you will get the public IP address allocated to your machine, not your machine, to your internet connection by your internet service provider. This is a 4-part address. In this one, few parts will be the network bits, and the last part or the second 2 parts will be the host bit. It just depends on the subnet mask. I will explain more about this IP addressing system in another video. I can share you the reference to that video at the end of this session, so you can get more details of that. So present, you just consider it as a unique address given to your machine, provided by the internet provider once you connect to the internet. Similarly, the website is also saved on some server. The website is also running on a similar device, but with a high configuration to support many clients at a time. When we use a browser like Chrome to open an address like google.com, it will be passed to the internet service provider, and that service provider will pass it to the nearby DNS servers routed by the service provider of the internet and gathers the IP address of this server, google.com. Once the IP address of the server is found, the request sent by this client will be sent to this Google server, and the Google server will send back data to the client, and it will be displayed on the browser. This is a simple web server and client setup. You can understand that with the example of root command. You see, this is the google.com server, and my first request is sent to my router I set up in my home. This is my IP address which I received from my home router. So this is specific to private IP address which I received only internal to my home network. So this is the router IP address. So once I send a request to google.com, it will be sent uh, to my router first, and from that router it will be sending to the broadband connection, that is 172.1, and from there it is going to its main server. Understood? And from there it is going to some other DNS servers. Somehow the request timed out because of the internet connection. So the thing is, from your client machine to the google.com, once it is entered to the internet, there are many hops in the middle to pass the request and send that request back to the server. To do that one, I'm using this traceroute, and traceroute is the application you will be using to troubleshoot any network request, if any issue with the website hosting and all. See, now the request from by reaching all of all these intermediate servers, it went to the google.com server, and from there it will trace back the route again in my laptop. So this is a basic network communication happens. So before the cloud, this web server, which is hosted somewhere in the remote location, is hosted on some data center being maintained by that web application company. Let's say instead of google.com, let's say I'm accessing some naukri.com or monster.com website. To keep that monster.com available to the end users, I will keep that in a data center or on a big machine, so that users from anywhere in the world can connect to that website. And to maintain that server, I need to maintain, set up some ACs and all to maintain the cooling condition of that server. And also I used to keep 3-4 network administrators to take care of that server up and down, or to check the network, to check the regular internet connection is available or not. If there is any server issue or is there any hardware issue, to maintain that I need a separate IT team every time. Understood? So every time there is an issue with the server, hardware or software or network connectivity, we need to manage ourselves by setting up separate infrastructure to take care of all the time. Similarly, let's say if we want to change the servers with some high configuration later, as the number of users increased, the same headache repeats to replace that with a new server, to move that complete data to this one, and to see whether that server is running properly or not. And if there is any issue, to get back the old server and everything. So if you come to the cloud computing, you will get rid of all this headache. Understood? So this is the issue we will be facing before the cloud. We need to buy the server, install it, maintain it, replace it. And main thing is we need to manage the infrastructure with an entity. The same goes with the networking, databases, user management, everything. So as I told you, this issue will be resolved in cloud computing. So what is cloud computing exactly? What is cloud? In simple terms, all these servers, networking, storage, and other services managed by us. From now on, it will be managed by someone else. Understood? So instead of we maintaining the server, we'll just use the servers maintained by someone else, and we'll just pay the hourly rental to them, hourly or minute by minute basis rental to them, as long as that we are using the server. And if any issues with the server, the data backup, the replacement with a different hardware, everything will be taken care by the cloud providers only. Understood? So who are these cloud providers? Cloud providers are those companies who maintain all these infrastructure in some remote location with big data centers to support many customers. So what do I mean by data center? Data center means there will be a separate buildings completely maintained just to host these server machines. Example, I'll show you the images. You see, there are big racks kind of thing where each and every rack will be provided with a high configuration server machines, so that billions of users around the world can just access these machines on rental basis, and they can use them. Once their usage is completed, the same machine will be scrapped with the data and provided to someone else. Understood? So these are the different types of services. So let's say I'm telling about server, right? Let's say I am hosting my web application on a server 2009, Windows Server 2019 machine. If it is a traditional approach, I will buy a CPU and I will set up all the ACs and everything in some server room, and I will connect the network, internet connection and everything to that CPU, and take a dedicated IP address from the internet service provider with a high band internet, and start and buy some domain name and register the domain name to this IP address. And whenever people enter mycompany.com, that routing will be taken care by that internet service provider, and that request will come to my server. If there is any power down or anything, my network administrator should immediately come to the office and rectify that one. Understood? But coming to this cloud computing, once you create an account with AWS or Azure or Google Cloud or Alibaba or E2E Networks of India, all these, they will simply provide you a web interface or a website with the account credentials. You will simply log into that one, and you will mention like, I need a machine with these configurations, and click create. And after within 2-3 minutes or hardly 5-10 minutes, the deployment will be done in the background. And in some cases, you will mention what are the softwares you need also, like IIS server and all. And once you start the mission server, immediately you'll get a IP address or DNS name registered in this one, and you will get the server running. You don't need to create it manually yourself. Once you provide your request in the website, it will automatically create it. And if you don't want to sit in front of the website, you will get an email notification after a few minutes while you are grabbing a cup of coffee. So once the machine is created, the internal softwares and everything will be installed by you. And whenever you don't want, you will simply shut down the machine. The billing will be less at that time. Once you shut down the machine, you will only be charged for the hard disk. When it is running, you will be charged for the internet connection, hard disk, RAM, CPU processor, everything. Once you shut down, you will be charged only for the hard disk. So let's say you use it for 1 or 2 hours, and you simply deleted that machine later after your usage. And for the 2 hours, you will be billed, and you will be paying in a monthly basis once your monthly bill is generated, and that is done. In the traditional case, even though you are not using after 2-3 hours, once you bought that machine, you don't have any other option. Either you need to use that for some other purpose, or you need to scrap the device and sell it for lesser price. So the Windows updates, patching, and everything will be maintained by them only. You can only pay for the number of minutes you use and then delete the resource. So this is not the feature just for Azure, it is the feature of any cloud computing environment. And what are the characteristics of cloud computing? So these are the common characteristics of any cloud computing, which any cloud computing environment should satisfy as a bare minimum. First is on-demand self-service. It means you should not interact with any other customer support way to create a machine. You should do it yourself by simply doing it in some website or running any script. So no user interactions will be required. Another one is broad network access. Means you will be connected with a high broadband internet in their environment, and you can access that machine from anywhere in the world. Not only machine, any database or anything, whichever resource you purchase from them. And resource pooling. What means physical resources, the main servers and all are actually shared between multiple customers, and and you have an option to take that complete server also dedicated for your purpose, for security purposes. Generally what they will do is on the same server they will create multiple virtual machines or multiple virtual drives, and they will share between multiple customers, but they are secure between different customers. Rapid elasticity. Let's say you bought a 2 GB machine, 2 GB RAM machine with one core processor. If you for rental basis, immediately after 1 hour or 2 hours, when the customer spike is more, what you can do is you can immediately change in the website that configuration from 2 GB. You can scale it to some 8 GB or 20 GB. Immediately that configuration reflects there. In the traditional case, you need to purchase that hardware, you need to shut down that machine, open up that, and do the hardware configuration yourself and throw that old RAM and use this new one. So much hardware configuration is required. Here it can be done by themselves in the background. Measured service means payment is done only for the user resources. In that way, you don't need to invest money upfront before using the resources. As long as you are using the resource, only for that you will be paid. Models of cloud. There are 3 different types of clouds actually. First one is private cloud. Private cloud means you will be setting your own data center, and there are private cloud softwares like OpenStack, Rackspace, and all. So on that rack of CPUs which you bought physical hardware, you will install this OpenStack software, and it will be accessed as an internet, as a web application. So anyone from your team members, they can just access this web application, and they can access the resources they want. This means to say like you are setting your own cloud service for yourself by using products like Rackspace, OpenStack, and all. So the hardware and everything will be maintained by you, and there is no cost of renting. When you are using some long-term basis projects, and you are like say some 7 years, 10 years like that, and you need some set of resources, then it is more economical to you. But there is extra headache of maintenance of this one. But it is more secure also. And the other option is public cloud. Instead of setting up hardware, what you can do is you can simply get an account from AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, public cloud services, and you can use them. There is another hybrid cloud. What is the use of this is you will be having your own private cloud or your own private office environment with those dedicated machines and all. You will create a virtual private network between the AWS or Azure machines to your office machines. So both are interconnected. So this is called as hybrid. So based on flexibility, generally in many projects, the development servers or with the testing servers, all this will be running on your own cloud, your own office machines, test machines like ESX server and all. When you want to host it to your production, generally you will be hosting on Azure environment. In the case of hybrid cloud. So let's go to the types of cloud computing now. Means what are the So the cloud computing can be characterized based on the types of services they will provide us. So let's say I need a virtual machine, uh, or I need a physical server. I need just a server provided by them, an infrastructure, a server or a network anything. So once they provide me the server or an operating system, on that one I can install whatever software I want, and I can run whichever applications I need to want host. There they are just providing an infrastructure to us. On that one, we'll be installing whichever software we want. So this kind of service is called infrastructure as a service. Example is on Azure. Let's say I took a Linux CentOS machine. On that CentOS Linux machine, I will install MySQL database myself. I will set up all the user accounts and everything. To Azure, they are just providing an operating system. But we installed our database, and we can install our web application also on the same server for different purposes. And our team members can access the database directly. There they are just providing the infrastructure, and the database is set up and maintained by us. The second option is platform as a service. Here they won't be providing you the server directly. They are taking that one extra button from us. Let's say I want to host a web application. For that, what I will do, if it is a PHP web application, I will be requiring a PHP server, Apache server, PHP runtime, and a MySQL database in a simple scenario. If I just take a service like AWS EC2 or Amazon Compute Service of IaaS, infrastructure as a service, I'm just purchasing a server from that one, and all these softwares will be installed by me. But coming to the platform as a service, all these web server, database, PHP runtime will be pre-configured for us. We'll just mention that we need this kind of a stack with these particular applications, and we'll just mention in the Azure portal, and we will simply provide access to the source code or the compiled binaries of our application to them, and the hosting will be done by them. Our part is we will be provided with only the file server where we can upload our website, the database, the PHP server, and everything will be already created for us by them. Understood? Here they are providing us a platform where we can run our application directly. Understood? There is one more third level. Here even they are not providing a platform. Here they are giving us direct application to us, and we will use them directly as an end user. Example, it is like a Gmail. It's a mail server hosted on Google servers. You will simply create an account and you can have access to your emails, and you can draft emails and send and check your emails in the inbox directly. You are not installing or configuring any softwares. Similarly, recognition is for machine learning, data science, and all. Dropbox is for file sharing. Zoom is for setting up video meetings. Here, the complete product is run and managed by the service provider. Understood? Here you can see that visualized manner. In the infrastructure as a service, the blue color is represented by the services managed by us. Here, everything is managed by us, the networking, storage, and everything in the on-premises environment, the networking, storage part, server installation, virtualization, everything. But here in this case, in the infrastructure as a service, the networking, storage part they are taking care, and even the hardware physical server also they are setting up, and even virtualization software on top of that, like KVM or VirtualBox or VMware or anything will be installed by them only. We don't know about what they are installed also, configured also. For us, they are directly giving us an option to select the operating system. Once we select the operating system, from here operating system onwards, this is taken care by us in the infrastructure as a service from the operating system level. Coming to the platform level, even the operating system level, the middleware software, the runtime PHP server or MySQL databases and everything will be taken care by us. Only the data and applications part is taken care by us. And coming to the software as a service, even the application installation also taken care by them. They are directly accessing the topic. So based on our requirement, we will be using different kinds of services provided by them. Understood? So this is the platform as a service section where infrastructure as a service section, which will be starting as a building block, where the compute section is about virtual machines. Network is about multiple network parts, how will you connect between them and all. Not the internal network level, but on a application layer level. Or we just do the configurations here, like I need this network range and this, I need multiple network NIC cards like that. The background configuration will be done by them. The storage part for storage purpose, like Google Drive, we have Azure Cloud Service also. Similarly, platform as a service, we have Azure Web Apps to host our web applications directly. Azure SQL database to get a ready-made databases like SQL Server or Postgres like that. Similarly, other services. Understood. So these are the different kinds of certifications provided by Azure. Our course is mainly focused on the job level training. So the purpose is mainly to make you appear for the interviews after this course, and you can apply for a job and able to crack that one. It's not about certification; it's about your job. And of course, our course will cover the certifications also, but in an indirect manner. Once this course is completed, uh, along with the job, you can appear for any of the certifications. This course is not specific to any certification, not specific to Azure Fundamentals or Azure Administrator like that. So once this course is completed, you can directly appear for the third level solution architect, the expert level. Understood? Even though you don't want to appear for the expert level, you can appear for the associate level also if you want, or fundamentals level. But in the associate level, we won't be covering the artificial intelligence and data scientist certifications. That is specifically for data science engineers and not AI engineers. Our focus is mainly on Azure Administrator or Azure Architect level. And Azure Security Engineer also, most of the topics will be covered at those, and topics related to security. It would be better if you go through the documentation provided by direct Microsoft website. You don't need to take a separate training for that one. You just go through the basic tutorials, and you can ask me and connect with me in the later part of course also, if you want to go into this certification. And these are just the links I have access through to get this snapshot for reference. That's it, guys, for this session. It's just a basic introduction I have provided for cloud computing and on Azure, and the path you can choose in the certifications or in your career. Thanks for your time. Bye.